Okay, started over for like the third time because I kept trying to figure out names. So this is the last video. Sorry about my hair and sorry about the crappy quality on the camera. My phone is actually dead and I actually don't have a script with me, so I'm just winging it today. You know, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so my people are Kayla and Anthony. Oh, you can't see that. Kayla, Anthony, and then the children are Layla and AJ. And I'm going to say that they were referred by Journey so I could try to remember their script too. Boom, 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 knocking. Hi, Kayla. My name is DeQuavia from American Income. I believe I spoke with you over the phone about the Child Safe program. Great. Well, if we can get to the kitchen table, things will move quicker. Building your rapport, occupation, family, recreation, me, all incorporated, la la la. Verify their birthday, and that's when I come in. And Kayla and Anthony, did Journey actually tell you about the Child Safe program? Yeah, she probably just left it up to me. So I'll just start from the beginning and tell you what it's all about. American Income Life is a 100% union insurance company, and for over 70 years they have provided exclusive benefits for over 20,000 unions and organizations internationally, such as police, firefighters, and teachers. And one of the groups that has worked with AIL for over 60 years is actually the Police Officers Union. And they, along with AIL, share the common goal of getting these valuable child safe kits in every family's hands. And it is through the Child Safe Initiative that Journey actually got these, and she sponsored you. So if you could just call her when you get a chance to just thank her for allowing you to be able to enroll in these no-cost benefits and get into the second part of the program as well. Okay? And my job here today is actually two parts. The first part is to help protect your children should something ever happen to them. And the second part is to help protect your children should something ever happen to you. And I'll go through it quickly. If you see something that you need, great, we'll get that set up. If not, that's fine as well. What they do ask is that if you see anything that you would like to apply for, that we get that taken care of today. And that's actually that's due to the amount of members that we see and the amount of territory that we cover. It is difficult, if not impossible, to visit family members multiple times. Is that fair enough? Great, and I'll just show you this video, and it'll give you a little more information about the child safety kits and their importance. Okay. Do do do. And did that make sense to you, Anthony and Kayla? Great. I'll get started into part one of your protection program. And the first benefit that you were actually sponsored for, Kayla and Anthony, are the child safe kits. These are important because they deal with our child safety. And what parents tell me, the biggest fear that parents tell me they have is child abduction. We've all had that feeling. You're at the grocery store and you turn around and and Layla and AJ aren't there. And then they just come running back like everything's fine. What most parents fear the most is that I, what if my child was unexpectedly taken from me? Would I have the proper information to give to authorities for them to begin immediately searching for my child? And that's where the child safe kits come in. They actually hold all this information in one place. And what typically happens when a child goes missing is that the police come to the door or wherever you are, and they come asking questions about the child's weight, height, hair color, eye color. And at that point, you're just like, just go find my child. He's this big, this wide, go look for my child. And it typically takes them at least an hour to gather all this information. But with these child safe kits, it puts all the information in one spot so they can get an Amber Alert immediately out, which actually is better because every hour that the police spend trying to get this information, they have to increase their radius by 70 miles. So it's important that you get these taken care of, okay? And I'll just go through this with you. Um, this pamphlet is meant to grow with the child. So there are some parts that go in pencil and there are some parts that go in pen. You can, of course, you can put the child's name in pen, and then the date completed on, you would put that in pencil because these are actually updated every 6 to 12 months. In the first part here, you have the personal information, and things that you can put in pen here are things such as the child's name, birth date, and blood type because that never changes. And things that go in pencil would be things like the height, weight, and allergies and medications. I say that about the allergies and medications being in pencil because those things can change as the child grows. And the second part here is the physical description, and it also has a body map so you can just indicate where any birthmarks or scars are, which will go in pen, and things that are temporary, such as glasses and braces, they would go in pencil. And right here in the DNA samples, what's most important about this part is that you pull the hair from the root because that's where the follicles actually contain the DNA, and it's not the length of the hair. So your child is precious, but whenever they start to make you mad, just pluck a few hairs, they'll be all right. You just tape those right here. And on section 4, this is the fingerprint information. This is a double strip non-toxic ink strip that you use to do the child's fingerprints. You know those shows, the CSI, any forensic shows like that. You know how they roll the fingerprint? Great, don't do that, okay? You just dab it on there. I usually say dot, dot, not a lot. And you just go from there. Because if you actually roll this, since the ink is so thin, it'll actually smear it. And it's suggested that you do this close to bedtime because if you can't get the oil off, if you can't get the ink off during bath time, they say that baby oil actually works with that as well. And in section 5 right here, this is where you put your child's picture. This is also updated every 6 to 12 months. But Layla and AJ are in school, right? Right. So you could just put their school pictures here, which are really useful for this because they actually update every 9 months. So instead of taking the pictures off, you would actually lay them on top of each other so you can show progression. And of course, the child's age and photo and the date completed on will go in pencil. And this is actually my favorite part right here. This helps you, spend a little quality time with your child, but giving them knowledgeable information as well. On the back, it's just telling you to teach them how to dial 911, teach them how to learn your address and your name, and actually come up with a safe word, things like that, which is pretty cool. And once you get finished filling this out, you'll just keep this with the person that has the child the most. And then the other parent can actually just take a picture of this just in case something were to happen if they were in their hands as well. And do these kits make sense? And do you understand the importance of them? Great. And as I initially mentioned before, we only work with select membership groups. But when it comes to getting these child safe kits, my bad. When it comes to getting these child safe kits, we want to make sure that they're in every family's hands that has children. And to accomplish this goal, I'm going to need your help. Can I count on you for your help? Great. So what you'll do, just grab your phones. And what most people do, they start from the A's and list every family member that they know not family member, every family that they know with small children so we can order these kits for them. And you said that your cousin Bailey had 3 children. You want to get her down? Great. Da-da-da-da. Who's next? And the next benefit that you've been sponsored for here, Kayla and Anthony, is the health services discount card. Do you happen to have any health insurance in place? Great. Well, this is really good. They really did a good job with this. This can help you save up to 60% off on things like vision, hearing, prescription, and chiropractic. And there is a basic and gold program, and I'll just go through this booklet with you as well. And like I said, there is a basic and a gold program. The basic program includes the vision, hearing, prescription, and chiropractic. At the front of this book, there's actually a website that you can go to, and you type in your zip code, and it'll tell you which providers actually accept the card in your area. And if you have any questions, there's also an 800 number here as well. And I see you're wearing glasses, Kayla. Are those prescribed? Great. And so with the glasses, you can get up to 60% off on the eyeglasses and up to 30% off on the eye exams at over 12,000 eye providers. And that's anybody like LensCrafters, Vioma Vision, anywhere like that. And do you wear any contacts? Great. Well, 1-800 contacts, this is their number. You get up to 40% off on contacts with them as well, which is pretty cool. And does anybody have any hearing problems? Anthony, this does not cover selective hearing. Um, this, I know this isn't a lot, but we do up to 20% off on hearing aids and exams, and that's just to help out a little bit because hearing plans are actually being taken out on health insurances across the board. So we just want to help out as much as we can. Does anybody take any prescriptions? No? Okay, well, if you were ever to have to, you get up to 30% off on the prescriptions. And this is at over 40,000 pharmacies. That's anywhere like CVS, Kroger, Target. I try not to go there because I shop too much. And does anybody go to the chiropractic? I know, girl, these are heaven sent. You actually get up to 40% off when you visit the chiropractor, and you get a free exam to see what they want to crack on you, which is pretty awesome. And that concludes the basic program. And as I stated before, the GOAT program actually includes everything in the basic program, including a dental plan, vitamins and supplements, travel assist, and a 24-hour nurse helpline. And the cost for this is $24.95 for the whole family, which is pretty cool because it's address based, and it's for per year. So you just pay $24.95 per year. And I actually crossed out this renewal fee right here because I'm just gonna write my name and number on the back, and when you are ready to renew, I'll just bring out a new booklet for you so you can renew at the same price. Okay? And do you have any dental insurance? Yeah. Well, do you know the maximum on that? Okay. Well, usually the maximum for dental insurance is 1,000 to 1,500. This helps pay anything that's out of pocket. So anything after that, you can save up to 50% on the dental expenses, and this includes cosmetics. So you know how they usually don't cover dentures, braces, or any oral surgery, teeth whitening, things like that. Right. This actually covers that for up to 50%, which is pretty awesome. And does anybody take any vitamins or nutritional supplements? Okay. Well, do you know the wholesaler of GNC? Well, do you know GNC? This is actually their wholesale provider. So you just call this 1-800 number, and they'll send a catalog in the mail. So you can order stuff. And they actually have a promo code where you can get a free product as well, which is pretty cool. And do you guys travel a lot? Great. So, when you're traveling, uh, I know when I first went to Spain, I didn't have any idea what they were talking about. This helps with things like legal assistance, language assistance, and let's say you lost your ID or passport across the border. They'll actually help you recover those things. And the most important, but not pleasant on here is let's say you were traveling over 100 miles and you just so happen to pass away. The person that gets your body back, they actually charge $1 per mile, and what this does, it'll take care of that cost. And there is a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 a year nurse helpline here. This is for let's say AJ wakes up with a fever and maybe he's just, you don't know, you can't determine what's going on. All you have to do is call this number and they'll help you decide on whether it's urgent or if he needs to just wait till tomorrow till the doctor's open, or maybe he's just trying to fake to get out of school. So this is pretty helpful. And those people that you actually sponsored for the Child Safe Kids get these discount cards as well. But do you know who's someone who's perhaps self-employed or works a part-time job and doesn't have the best benefits in hand? Okay. Do do do. Who's next? And the next benefit I have for you guys, is the Family Information Guide. Um, this is something for both of you to fill out on your own time. And this is so if you were to pass away, family members that come in looking for these things, this will be in one spot and they don't have a reason to be nosy going through your things, okay? So I'm just going to go through this with you as well. Um, at the top here, this is the vital statistics. This is something that's very important that needs to be filled out because within this is the information that's needed to do the death certificate within 24 hours, and if it's not put together, the funeral homes do charge $500 to get this information together. So this can help save a lot of money. And do either one of you happen to be a veteran? Oh, Anthony, well, we really do appreciate you for your service. It really is appreciated. So you'll just write what branch you're in, date of discharge. You'll write your information right here. And for the spouse slot right here, I actually left two for both of you. Persons to be notified. This is anyone that you want to know that you passed away, like our emergency contact, and whoever's going to be in charge of the final arrangements. I personally suggest that you don't put your spouse here for the final arrangements because we want to give them time to grieve, if you know what I mean. I mean, at least you should be grieving, Kayla. And do you guys happen to have a will in place? Okay, well, this is kind of a starter will, so you can just write that information right there. The state information is the most important part on this because this deals with any life insurance that you have or any that you might have through work. Do you have any through work? Okay, so you'll just write that in the slot where there aren't any money signs, and we put that because if you were to retire or get fired, whatever the case may be, um, usually those benefits from the job don't go with you. So we just want to make sure that you notate that that is through work. And for the financial institution information, this does need to be filled out because the banks actually require that when you pass away, that a family member comes and cleans out the bank account. And do you have a safe deposit box? Right, I've only seen those on movies. I've never seen them in person. And I know this isn't the most pleasant thing to talk about, but the funeral service request, any special requests or anything that you have, you'll write it down here. And have you all decided if you want to do a cremation or a earth burial? Okay, so what you'll do, you'll write that information here, sign and date this at the bottom. Once you do that, it does become an official document. Fold it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, and throw it in the freezer. And yes, I did say the freezer because that's where EMTs and firefighters are actually trained to look just in case something happens to you. And the refrigerator is actually more likely to withstand a fire than anything else in the home. That's why we say that. Okay, great. So that's the end of part one. Part two, as I stated before, is something that you have to qualify for. So I'm just going to run through a few questions with you here and see what if you qualify. And do 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 do. Okay, and there is a mandatory. Now I'm gonna yeah, there is a mandatory read of the letter that I have to read to you before I get into the needs analysis. Da, 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 da. And I guess I'll make up my own. Okay, Layla, Kayla, and Anthony, according to your answers, you're both qualified for 15,000 on your Premier Family Care Plan, and it's actually designed to fill in the gaps for what isn't provided to you. Okay. Ooh, here go this freedom of choice. And Kayla and Anthony, have you actually had to take care of the final expenses for a friend or a family member? No. Well, do you know about how much it costs to handle the final arrangements nowadays? That's pretty close. It's around $14,000 to $15,000. And what most families don't realize is that life insurance doesn't work like it used to. The way it used to work is when I'm gonna just pick on you, Anthony, because Kayla, they can't hang with the big dogs. They're usually the first to go. They just can't hang. We're the best. But Anthony, let's say you were to pass away. What used to happen is that all Kayla would do, she would take the policy to the funeral director, and everything would be taken care of. But rarely does it work that way anymore because policies could take weeks, if not months, to pay out nowadays. And another thing is there's a company called SCI, and um, that's short for Service Corporation International, and they're actually buying up all of the funeral plots and cemeteries across the United States. And their goal is actually to become the Walmart of the funeral industry. And I'm telling you this because in their corporate policy, it states that they need 50 to 100% of the funeral costs up front. They're not waiting weeks, if not months, to for these policies to pay out. And that's why we've added the freedom of choice as a part of your package. And how this works, um, Anthony and Kayla. Let's say Anthony were to die. It doesn't matter if it's tomorrow, in a car wreck at the age of 60 from cancer, or the ripe old age of 97. Alyssa, all you have to, not Alyssa, Kayla, all you have to do is take this piece of paper to the funeral director and they'll accept it. And they actually prefer it because they know they'll be getting paid immediately. Now, based on your qualification questions, you guys qualified for 15,000 each, and this is important because of course, you need to go get the funeral costs negotiated. So, let's say you get the opening and closing of the casket, the embalming, flowers, and things like that. Let's say you get it negotiated for 13,000. What you're gonna do, um, Kayla, is you're gonna write the 12,000 right here on the back. You're gonna hand this in to the funeral, sign as the beneficiary, and hand it and to a funeral director. Now, this 12,000 is important because the funeral director is actually going to call this 1-800 number. And the first thing they're going to do is see if the policy is in effect. And then they're going to ask the one question that all funeral directors ask is, which is how much money does Kayla have to work with for to take care of Anthony's funeral? Well, we're going to say, well, how much money did Kayla put on the back of the freedom of choice? And we never reveal what what our policyholders have, because if we were to tell the funeral director that you have 15,000 to work with, what do you think he's going to charge for the funeral? Exactly, 15,000. And I just realized that I didn't say the most families don't have 14,000 lying around when SEI is charging up front. I forgot that part. Um, so yeah, back to that. Oh yeah, and at this point, Anthony and Kayla, everything's taken care of. And at this point, Kayla, everything's taken care of. And Anthony, there's no money coming out of Kayla's pockets or your family's pockets. And not only do we find that this is the most easiest, cleanest, compassionate way to do this, but this is the only program around that's designed to protect the beneficiary's bank account at a time when they're most vulnerable. And Kayla, what feature did you like most about the Freedom of Choice? Right. And why is that important? Yeah, that's what most families say. And Anthony, why is this important for Nicole to have? No, Anthony, what is most important about the freedom of choice for you? Exactly. Now, another area of concern is not only taking care of the funeral, but satisfying those monthly bills that are coming in after the funeral has been handled. Most of the families we see don't have their paychecks protected. Let me ask you a question, Alyssa. I mean, why do I keep saying Alyssa? Kayla, if something were to happen to Anthony and he were to pass away, how would you be able to satisfy those bills, those monthly bills still coming in? Now, all the families that I sit down with have life insurance, but most most families don't realize how it works. Which it works like $100 bill. Kayla, let's say you go to the grocery store with $100 bill on Friday. You buy your groceries, and how much of that money do you think you'll have left by Monday? Exactly. That's exactly how life insurance policies work. The first thing that happens when dies is that you wait 60 to 90 days for that lump sum benefit to be paid out. And the first thing you're going to do when you get that money is pay back wherever you got the money for the funeral. Then after that, you're still trying to take care of bills and live life. And statistics actually show that life lump sum policies are usually gone within 6 to 12 months. And that's why we've added the income protection to your program. Uh, oh, I'm sorry, 6 to 12 months. And at this point, Anthony's gone. Well, and at this point, the spouse is gone, but those monthly bills are not getting satisfied, which puts most families in a tight financial spot. Um, what else? Let's see. What percent my phone on now? Yes. Ah, my phone is back on. And that's why we've added the income protection to your package, but it's set up differently from a lump sum benefit. And how this works is that if Anthony were to die any reason before 65, um, Kayla, you will receive $2,400 per month each and every month for 5 years. And I know they won't completely replace Anthony's income, but what it will do is provide support for 5 years and allow you to get on your feet. Kayla, if something were to happen to Anthony, could you use that extra $2,400 coming in each and every month for 5 years? Exactly. And Kayla, why is that important to have? And Anthony, why is that important for Nicole to have? Exactly. And so far, we have your children protected, we have your funerals taken care of no matter how you go, and we have your incomes protected no matter how when you die. Where's my Premier Care Plan sheet? Um, I'll just pretend that this. Okay, yeah. And and we have your funerals taken care of. No, your income's protected no matter when and how you die. Now, statistically speaking, you're most more like 9 times more likely to die in an accident more than you dying tomorrow from a heart attack or cancer. And and what this first benefit does is brain fart. What this first benefit does is make sure that like if you were to have a mishap at work or slip and fall or anything like that, you'll get an additional 30,000 for both of you on top of your funeral expenses, on top of the freedom of choice, and additional 6,000 for each child. And what's the most dangerous thing that we do every day? That's right, we drive a car. And most insurance companies actually pull back their benefit due to the higher risk, which we think is ridiculous. So we actually pull our benefit up. And it doesn't matter if you're driving in the car, passenger seat of the car, asleep in the back seat of the car, whether it's a work or home vehicle, or maybe even it's your fault. You'll still receive an additional 60,000 if something were to happen to you, Kayla, and Anthony, and an additional 12,000 here for Layla and AJ. Now, oh man. Um, oh, and the next thing that this does, let's say you um, is the next thing here is the common carrier death benefit, and that's anything that you pay a fare for. So let's say, oh, there's something in my let's say you're on a plane, train, school bus, maybe even an Uber. What this does is protect you for 150,000 for both of you, and then gives you an additional 30,000 for Layla and Junior. And now that we're done talking about dying, we're just going to talk about some hospital benefits for you. Oh, we're just going to talk about, I know it's not hospital, it's something like trip to the hospital or something like that. So, Let's say AJ and Layla outside playing around, and AJ slips and breaks his ankle. Where's the first place that you're going? That's right, the emergency room. And usually, um, with people that have insurance, their copay is $150. And if you're like me, $150 is $150. And on top of that, now you're having to miss work to make sure that Anthony gets to the emergency room. So what this benefit does is every time that you all have to go to the emergency room, anyone in the family, let's say is for maybe you step on a rusty nail, need a tetanus shot, maybe you got stung by a bee and have an allergic reaction, anything that is not internal fever or sickness, it'll be taken care of. And they actually send you $150 per occurrence. So let's just say that you go to the ER 3 times a year. That's $450 that'll be sent to you in a tax-free check. Now, let's say, Kayla, you're whipping it up in the kitchen and you run out of milk. You send Anthony to the store, and as he's leaving the store, an idiot, he stops at a stop sign, but the idiot behind him doesn't and runs into the back of him. He's going to the hospital. Let's say he's in the hospital for 10 days. What's the chances? What this benefit does is pay out $300 per day for up to 365 days a year per occurrence. So, let's say he's in the hospital for 10 days. What's the first thing that's going to happen is that you're missing work. And what happens when you miss work? You don't get paid. And then the bills are still coming in. So what we're going to do, we're going to send you a $300 per day that you're in the hospital. So let's say you're in the hospital for 10 days. What's the chances that you're going to get out on the 11th day? Exactly. You're not going to be able to go to work. So we're going to send you a $300 check, and you were in there for 10 days. So that's a $300 check being sent out to you. Now, let's say this was a little more serious. We give you $600 per day in the ICU, and after 14 days, it doesn't go away. It reverts back to that $300 a day. So let's say you're in the ICU for 3 days, which is $1,800. And then, of course, you go to a hospital room after the ICU, right? You're not going straight home. Let's say you're in the ICU for 7 days. That's $2,100. So just for the 3 days in the ICU and the 7 days in the hospital, we'll send you a $3,900 check in the mail, tax free, no deductibles, no waiting periods. And we send this directly to you, and we don't tell the doctors that you have it or anything, because it's up to you on what you want to do with that money. You might have bills that you have to take care of. You might pay the hospital bill back, but it's totally up to you. And yeah, and this is actually like layoff and strike approved as well. The strike is more pertains more to the union members, so I'm just gonna mark that out. But let's say you were to get laid off, you'll just fill in a card, and they'll actually waive your premium for up to 3 months. I wish my car insurance did that, but I know it doesn't work like that. Um, and another thing that you can do, you guys, you can add 100,000, so that'll move you up to $130,000 for the like the natural accidents, and that'll move you up to 160,000 for car accidents and 250,000 for those common carriers. And you can actually do that for an extra $2 a week. So the only question I have for you is, would you rather do the basic program or add that extra $100,000 for $2 a week and wait for them? Da da da. Great. So all I need from you at this point is your doctor's information, your first month's premium, because when we leave here, you're covered, and your driver's license.